Hello, La Sierra University students. It's good to be back with you again. I was there the first week of March. My name is Chuck Dart. I am the Associate Dean of Student Affairs for the School of Allied Health Professions here at Loma University. Hope you're doing well during this COVID thing and all of your lectures being on Zoom. So the lecture that I'm going to share with you today, I need to share my screen with you, is about Plan B. What happens if goals didn't work, or the goals were set, but something happens and they kind of get, distracted or off the rail? So today, as you can see, what happens now, Plan B, C, or D, and we'll go through this together. Objectives for this particular lecture is review our goals, how to set them, double check your passion, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Plan for challenges, always have to be ready for something coming up. Prepare for obstacles and how do we get around them, and then what's next? What's your plan B, C, D, whatever. Again, some of this information that I'm sharing with you is taken from Brian Tracy's book, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. And I also have some things from Inside Success. It's an email for leadership that I get on a regular basis. So let's take a look at the goals and goal setting. When I was there, I had to write down some goals, and you have to be really specific on what you're doing. So you need to decide exactly what you want. What is your goal? Not just I hope, but what is it specifically? What is it that you want to accomplish? What is it that you want to do? You need to write them down. I would say that you need to write them with a pencil or pen on paper. You can put them on a computer so you can see them, or on your phone, but writing it down does something, and I'd like for you to do that if you haven't done it already. Be willing to pay the price. So what are we talking about here? Being willing to pay the price. Well, the thing of it is, if you need to get A's, there's going to be a price to pay for that, because you're not going to be able to go out with your friends as much as you would like. That doesn't mean you can't, but you need to say, okay, look, this is what I'm going to do to make sure that I get an A. I mentioned before, for some of you that might not have heard, I'm a marathoner. I run marathons. Now I've been injured, and I've got some issues going on. Just was at PT this morning, working on a knee issue. So, but when I had the goal of running a marathon, and my goal was to finish, not necessarily to win, but to finish, I still needed to put in the time, and so the paying of the price was going to bed earlier and getting up earlier so I could get my runs in before I started my day. So that it depends on what your goal is, what price you're going to have to pay, but be willing to do it. Then you may need to make a detailed plan. So what is it that you're setting your goal for? What is that plan that you need to follow so you can accomplish the goal? Let's say it's an A in a class. So that's studying Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And how many hours do you need to study for each class? Classes are different intensities, and so the detailed plan could be that 15 minutes on this class every day of the week and I'll have an A. Another class, it could be 3 hours a day. That's a little bit much, but I just want you to understand the detailed plan is not just about the time, but it's about what you do with studying for the A. It might be that you're working with a group. It might be talking with a teacher. It might be working with a tutor or a mentor. All of that is part of your plan. And then you need to take action. Don't just put it in a drawer and say, okay, here's my detailed plan, hope it works. No, you got to follow it. It's just like if I want to lose some weight and I decide that I'm going to change my diet and I'm going to do some exercising, that I need to have a detailed plan on that and then take action on it if I want my goal to be accomplished. Then you need to do something about your goal every single day. Goal setters do something about their goal every single day. And it's just part of what they do in their habit of life. Every day they're working towards their goal. And then you see number 7 here is plan, do, and review. And we're going to go through that. I'm going to help you with that a little bit. But plan, you do, and you review. And that's something that you do constantly. And then number 8 is you never give up for setting goals. So let's look at doubling or double checking your passion here. When I was there, I asked you a question. This is about careers. What's going to motivate you to get out of bed in the morning and go up big, yay, get to go to work? Because if you don't like what you're doing, and we're talking about passion for a career right now, it's going to be work. If you don't like it, you're going to be, oh, I got to go to work. And I don't want you to do that. I mean, you're at the point right now that you can select a career that's going to be really exciting. To the point of, and you can see on number 2 here, if you didn't need to work, if you marry somebody that has money, or somehow you have money coming in and you don't need to work, would you be willing to still do whatever it is you're thinking of going into as far as a career, but volunteer to do it? If you can say yes to that, I'm going to say you're probably following your passion. Now, let's look at this a little bit more here. Volunteering to do it might not be 5 days a week, 40 hours a week. It could be 2 or 3. It could be in a different arrangement. The point being is that you love what you're doing enough that when you do get up, and probably you're not going to be marrying somebody that has a ton of money, so when you do get up, it's not feeling like, oh man, I have to go to work because I have to pay the bills. You're going to work because I get to do what I love to do, and by the way, I get a paycheck. That's your passion. But here's the question. Since just about a month and a half ago, has your passion changed? Has it changed since you started college? I don't know how many of you freshmen or seniors or anywhere in between, but has it changed since you maybe selected a major? What's going on in your head right now? How are you dealing with that? Have others influenced you toward a specific career, or you just picked something because you didn't know what else to do? If it's not your first choice, then I would say you need to really sit down and analyze, where are you going, what do you want to do, and why are you not going for your first choice? Are you okay with that? Or are you holding some resentment? So I will tell you, when I worked at La Sierra University, I was there from 1991 to 99. I was director of enrollment services, and I had a young man come in and talk to me about possibly getting some more scholarships. So I sat down with him and we started looking at grades and things like that, and just to see what I could help him with. He was a junior, and I discovered that he wasn't doing real well in some of his science classes, and he was pre-med. So I started talking to him, and he told me that he didn't want to go into med school. I said, well, so what's happening? Well, my parents want me to go. I said, but what do you want to do? And he told me what he wanted to do. And I said, man, that's what you need to go for, because you're not going to get into med school. The point being is you need to have control of your life, of what you do with your career, because 10 years from now, 20 years from now, no one else is getting up to go to work for you except you. And so this is why I'm working here on this, double checking your passion. Just make sure you're going after what you really want to go after, and you're not doing it for somebody else, because somebody else is not going to go to work for you. So what happens here? We've got our goal set, your passion, here we are, we're moving along, and something major takes place. So I will tell you, I was training for my first marathon. I'm out running just right about less than a mile from La Sierra University, and I pulled a hamstring. I mean, I could feel it coming on. It was actually going downhill, and all of a sudden, so I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I won't be able to run the marathon. I've been training for a while. So I talked to several people, and I had to take some time off. It was tough. I didn't like that. but taking that time off, doing some other things, maybe some swimming, some yoga, some stretching, helped me get back into so I could still hit my goals. So successful people bounce back, unsuccessful people break. How far do you bounce when something happens? Or Charlie Jones, motivational speaker, says, it's not how far you fall, but how high you bounce that counts. So how do you bounce back? We're going to talk about that a little bit more. And I've got some things from Inside Success that we'll share with you in just a little bit. But I wanted to go over the plan, do, review thing first. So we're coming along. Here we are. Here's the week: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I would say every Friday is a good time. Now, if it's a busy time, it's the end of the week, so maybe you move it to the very first of the week, first part of Sunday morning, somewhere Sunday, where you're looking at the week prior, Friday or Sunday, whatever, Saturday night. You're looking at the week. How did I do? So if your goal is to get A's in classes, which it should be, look at every class. How did I do this week? What did I do on the test? What did I do on the quizzes? What was it that I did this week that was successful and I'm getting an A? Because if your goal is to have an A at the end of the term, you should have the goal to get an A every week. And so you're looking at this. You've done your plan. You went out. The action plan was there. You followed through, and now you're reviewing. If you didn't hit your goal, then you need to see what's going on. What did I do right, but what should I do differently so I can hit my goal? And these are questions that you need to ask yourself. What is it that I didn't do that I needed to do? And you might need to get some other people to step in and help. If you're struggling with assignments in chemistry, let's say, or if you're not getting a concept in a philosophy class or psychology, go get some tutoring, go get some help. Ask your buds, ask your study buddies. They'll help you. You don't have to do this thing on your own. But if you're not reviewing, it's easy to think, oh yeah, I'm working on my goals, I'm working on my goals, I'm working on my goals. And all of a sudden, you're going down versus up. And so the review gives you a short opportunity to take a look, how am I doing? And you need to do it every single week, every week. Just make it a habit. So here we go, plan, do, review, plan, do, review. So why am I saying you should plan for failure? Well, hey, Liz, let's face it. None of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. So you plan for failure. I hope it doesn't happen. But if you've already planned for a little, you're not going to be overwhelmed. So what is it that you've done in advance to help with preparing for this disappointment? And it could be your outlook, change your negative thoughts more towards positive thoughts. You practice some of that. You practice crisis anticipation. I mean, right now we're in a crisis. I'm not sure the world anticipated what we're dealing with right now, but a lot of people have stepped forward and are doing stuff to help, get the world back to hopefully normal again. But practice crisis anticipation. So what's the worst case scenario that could happen? Well, my major, I don't get the grades and I can't go on to whatever. So why? Figure that out. What's going on? Was it because you got sick? When I was training for marathons, I would get sometimes run down. I'd have a cold. I couldn't be training as much. So I already knew that if I got colds, I would be doing something else instead of out pounding the pavement. So what is it that you have, that you've thought about, that you can help yourself with when something happens? It's not the end, but okay, this is what I'm going to do right now. You're ready to have a topic for a term paper or some thesis, and somebody else already has it. What do you do? Or what you were looking for, it's almost non-existent. So you have to change some things. It's okay to have some plans ahead. Continually thinking ahead. And this is the next thing. What's happening next? Be a future thinker, not so much forget the past. You can't change that, but where are we right now? But thinking ahead is going to help you, and then expect the unexpected. I mean, you know, here we are. You're sitting at home, and I'm doing this from my office instead of us being in person. Who expected this? Nobody. I'm not sure that there's too many of us that thought we could come up with something like this, but just be prepared for things not going exactly like you planned, and then extrapolate from the present. So what is it happening right now that I can use, and then think down the road ahead. So I talked to you about balance or bouncing back. So this is from the Inside Success, and there was a couple things that I saw here. These are some people that have had some quotes. I've really summarized them. These are young entrepreneurs, millennials. There might be some Gen Zs in here that they're talking about what happens if they make a mistake or there's a mistake made. So ways to bounce back from a mistake. So one said, understand why there was a mistake made. Did I make the mistake or did I have the error because of fear? And then I thought this was really good because a lot of us are afraid. Some of us are afraid to be successful. What, straight A's? I've never done that before. So fear is an emotion, and you can see the next one that don't let the emotions get in the way. So is fear causing some of the problems? And if it is, take a look at that, deal with it. Why are you afraid, and overcome that? Then you're not going to continue to make the mistake. And then don't let the emotions get in the way. I mean, sometimes we're thinking that, oh my goodness, this is the end of the world. Oh, it's so bad. And we're so emotional about it that we magnify this mistake in our minds to be ginormous, and it really isn't. So let that go. I mean, yeah, you're going to have some angst, but then get down to business, thinking through it, and focus on creating, or correcting, I should say, the issue, looking ahead, what's going to happen down the road, and look for a positive outcome. So look, you're going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. So learn from the experience so it doesn't happen again. So if we made a mistake, did something, I studied this, I should have studied that. You're going to learn from the next time. So at semester time, or excuse me, a quarter into quarter, you're not going to make a mistake at the final exam. Make sure it doesn't happen again. And this is interesting because you can go along and say, okay, I know what it was, but you don't want to let things continue on over and over. So learn from the mistake and implement a process so you don't repeat it. So again, are you studying the right stuff? Well, if you're not asking what you need to be studying, you could be studying the wrong stuff over and over. Instead of getting A's, you're getting B minuses or C pluses. So take a look, what's going on, implement the process. So you need to talk with the professor, the teacher, and find out why are you not studying the right stuff in the right format. So you just don't want to keep repeating it, and then move on. Just, let it go. Most mistakes are reversible. So it's not the end of the world if something happens. So bounce back with a lot of authority. I wanted to show you this. This is back on setting goals. And I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about long-term goals versus short-term goals. And this is with career choices. And I just used PT as an example. It could be for anything. It could be for, owning your own business, or teaching, or being a psychologist. Doesn't really matter. So long-term goals, a career goal, if you're a freshman and you're thinking, okay, I want to be a PT, that's about 7 years. That's a long-term goal. You want to become a physical therapist. The short-term goal is, what do I need to do to be a physical therapist? And there's going to be several things that you can do. And we're going to go through some of them that kind of all combine. So one thing you might want to do is start looking at, okay, so if I'm going to be a physical therapist, what schools do I have physical therapy? And then what do they require? What's the major, as you can see? Or what classes do I need to become a physical therapist? What kind of GPA for the PT schools? What are they requiring? Some are going to be tougher than others. So what kind of grades do I need to get into a PT school? And so you can see the short-term goals are going to be things that you're doing right now, getting ready to move towards the goal. And then, of course, we're now making it even smaller. GPA in sciences, what grades do you need in a science class versus just general education classes? And then other requirements. What is it that I need to do to get into PT schools? Well, one is you need to have at least 80 hours of observation hours. If you are doing a physician assistant program, for us at Loma Linda, we require 2,000 hours or 1 year of paid contact with patients, minimum. So each school is a little different, so you need to look at it. This is on a career choice, a career goal. So what other things do you need? I mean, if you're going to med school, you probably need a lot of volunteer hours, a lot more than 80 observation hours like physical therapy. What other things do you need to do? Well, you might need to run for some offices. You might need to do some volunteer work in helping with outreach, like feeding the homeless or things like that. So you need to find out long-term goals. What is it that you're looking for? What is it that they require? Short-term goals are, okay, how do you do it year to year to year to year? Hope that helps a little bit. So what will you do if career choice number 1A doesn't happen? Do you have a fallback plan? Plan B, C, or D? What is your plan? And so I want to share with you a story, kind of an interesting story, and it takes kind of some twists and turns. I was at a school and I was talking with a young lady who had applied for physical therapy. She was put on the alternate list and the tears started flying. Oh, I want to be a physical therapist. And I said, well, it's not that you're out, but, and so we looked at her grades and there were some things on there that weren't stellar and it's pretty competitive. So she was crying about that and pretty distraught. And so I said, look, have you seen this? And I gave her an information sheet on another program that we had. And she took a look at it and she said, oh, started reading it. Now, when I had first met her and talked to her, she was thinking of dental hygiene. And then she switched to PT. So that's 2 careers. Now she has another one in front of her. And so she was taking a look at it. And she said, oh, I think I can probably go check this out here in the town nearby. The next day I saw her, she said, oh man, this is so exciting. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go check them out. I'm really excited about this. And so she came, she applied, she got in, she went into the program, finished the program. While she was here at Loma Linda, she met her significant other who happened to be in another school. And that particular program that she was finishing with us meant that she might have to leave the area to do some internships. And that was something she didn't want to do because she's now with her significant other, they got married. And so, some things changed and plans change. So here she had dental hygiene, physical therapy, this other program that she finished. But yet there were some things keeping her here and she wasn't able to complete everything she wanted to do. So what's the next step? She started her own business. I've actually talked to her and she shared with me what she was doing. It was quite interesting because she's working 4 days a week. She has a few people that work for her and she's doing very, 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 very well. So I'd love for you to come to Loma Linda. I'm not telling you that story because I don't want you to come and, I want you to go into the career that you've selected. But the reason I'm telling you is it had a lot of different A, B, C, D plans, but she didn't let the changes stop. She kept moving on, and now she's doing very well. She's very excited about what she's doing. So plan A might end up being plan G or J or H or whatever. So it's okay. Set your goals, be passionate about it, make sure that you're following the goals every day, plan, do, and review. Who knows where you'll end up as far as your success story. So we're ending up here, we're almost done. I just wanted to give you some quotes here. This is by Edison. Experimentation is simply a process of elimination of what doesn't work. Here he's the greatest inventor, and he probably had more failures than anybody. And yet, look how we feel about Edison. Ford, the Ford company. Failure is merely an opportunity to more intelligently begin again. I love how he says that. And then Brian Tracy. Every experience is a positive experience if I view it as an opportunity for growth and self-mastery. Brian Tracy is really after making you better. That's what he really pushes, making you better, you better, you better. Because if you're better, even if there's failures, it will still work within the company or the experience that you're going through. So that's why he is saying that. I've read a lot of his books and listened to him. So this next one here, John Wooden. Failure is not fatal, but failing to change might be. Now, if you don't know John Wooden, he is truly the best college basketball coach there ever has been. Coached at UCLA, has multiple championships. And you need to listen to what he says. Failure is not fatal, but failing to change might be. So just realize that as you're moving along, there might be some changes that you'll have to make as you go through for plans B, C, and D. And then Watson, he's the one that came up with IBM, started IBM. The quickest way to success is to double your rate of failure. It's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes as long as you learn. So what is your definition of success and failure? And if we were in class, I'd like to hear from you. What is success to you? Think about that. Maybe even write it down on a piece of paper. What is your definition of success? And what is your definition of failure? What is your plan B, C, and D? And then remember, failure is not final. It's not final. So what is your plan B or C or D or E or F? I don't know. You might not need it. Not right now. Maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now. But still, we always have several plans. Get ready to plan, do, review. Got that down. Be ready for challenge. Be ready for setbacks. Be ready to bounce. Be ready to learn. And then be ready for success. So if you guys need to get in touch with me about careers, or you want to talk to me more about setting goals or plan B or C or D, I would love to talk with you. I'd love to mentor you if you're having struggles with this. You can see that my email is cdart@llu.edu, and my office phone here at Loma Linda is 909-558-4792. La Sierra has that. Vanessa has it. So, if you can't get back into this, although I think it's recording, you'll be able to see it a while. But again, cdart@llu.edu, and then 558-4792. I've enjoyed talking with you guys. I will try to get out of here fairly quickly. Let me stop sharing. I wish you success as you finish up this quarter. I know it's not the easiest time in the world, but you'll do well. I'm sure you will. Just be ready to bounce. You guys have a great rest of your quarter. See you later. Bye.